Good evening. I'm going to work on a couple pours. What I'm doing right now is mixing my paint, and this is a recording of a live stream. And this is going to be a fairly simple one. I saw a posting on a Facebook group, and I really liked the soft colors. So it's red, yellow, blue, and white, mostly white. So I was just mixing the red, and I was telling the girls in the chat that this is a little bit of Americana Neon Fiery Red and Artist Loft Deep Red. This is translucent, so I'm adding a little bit of this to make it just a little bit more opaque. And then I had the Artist Loft Deep Yellow, which again is also transparent. So I added just a squirt of some Traditions. Most yellows you're going to find are transparent and not opaque. But because these two have the heavy body, not heavy body, but they have the acrylics from the tube, I added a little bit of Floetrol, just to those two and the whites because it's pretty heavy also. And I added Liquitex pouring medium, just a small amount, about a quarter amount to each of the colors and a little bit more in the white because I have more of it. And I added GAC 800 to all of them to prevent crazing. So I'm just mixing those right now, and then I'm going to start adding water. The blue is just the Americana Electric Blue and a little bit of ultramarine blue. In fact, I'm going to add just a little bit more of the ultramarine, just to help darken it just a little bit. Now, the neons don't say on here whether they're opaque or translucent or semi. Most of your paints will somewhere. On them, but not always. See, this one says the pigment and the light fast and the U and the value. It's harder on some of the craft paints to see that. All right, and then I've got white, and the white that I am using is the Saks True Flow acrylics. I really like this. They have a set of 12 colors that I think I'm going to get for doing this, because if I teach the classes, I'll need larger amounts of paint, and I think that'll be, hi Dot, I think that will be more cost effective. Alright, now on this one I'm just going to add some water straight from the bottle. I'm going to add a little bit at a time. I don't want to get them too thin. That blue probably is going to be too thin. I'm going to add more of the paint to that one. A little too much water in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pour on one and a flip cup on the other. And I may add some different yellow to this one. I'm not sure. And I'm just adding the water a little bit at a time to get the right thickness. think the blue's good. I made a lot more white than I did the other colors. Hi, Nina. And hi, Cindy, and anyone else I've missed that's come in. Usually I use the spray on the spray bottle and add it that way, but trying to expedite it a little bit. You want the paint to kind of pour off your stick, kind of like heavy cream. So in this mixture, I have paint, pouring medium. In the ones that are a heavy body, a tube acrylic Colleen, I put flow, the flood, the flow drop. They all have some GAC 800. And now I'm adding the water to get them to the consistency that we want them. Okay, the red one I think is about right. The blue one's definitely right. The yellow's still a little thick. I do think, Carol, I've written it down. I wrote down Rick Cheadle's recipe, and I also wrote down Anne Marie's new recipe. I may try both of those. That's the fun of this, I think. You think you know how it's going to turn out, which color's going to dominate. And you can do two pours and they don't really look the same. Still think I need a little bit more water in the yellow. The white definitely is going to take more. Okay. Check my red. I think the red's a little thick still. And it has to do with the natural densities of the pigments themselves to some degree. I was watching a video the other day. Yeah, that's a good idea, Carol. A book, like a notebook, to write down a pour that you did and like what you used. I'm not measuring that precise, but I feel like I maybe need to measure more precisely. Because then if you got good sales, let me show you the ones from the other day. Some of you may have seen them, some of you may have not. So there's the first one we did, and this one was an actual flip. No, this one was just a pour with the leftover paint. I let it drip. And so this is a Deco Art stencil, a dandelion stencil, and then this was from K & Company. And I think it turned out cute because you can still see the pour, in the background, but it gives you, it's a little more interesting. And then on the other one, this was the actual flip cup. And a lot of my cells broke apart. I think the paint was too thin, and that's why I'm getting some of the cells breaking apart after it sits. And this one has, that's from K & Company also. And this is a stencil by Martha Stewart. Again, you can still see, but the pores weren't that interesting, so just adding something on top of them, I think helps. I may have the white now, where we need it. No, not quite. All right. There was a lot more paint in this one, though. I knew I wanted enough to do 2 canvases. Okay. Set that aside. Get a cup. Get our 2 canvases. Okay. So I'm going to start with white in the bottom of the cup. Still think that might be too heavy. I'm going to add just a little bit more of the flood. Yeah, if you were more precise, in the measurement, yeah. I don't feel like my white is thin enough. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right, so I'm going to add a little more of the white. And I'm going to add some red from up high. And I did see a video that talked about, and she compared pouring low and pouring high, and it did make a difference in the 2 pours. And then I'm going to add a little squirt of the silicone. I'm going to add some more white. And I'm going to add some blue. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to that red. Add another spray of the silicone. And some white. Alright. Now I'm going to take the rest of this white and I'm going to add it around the edges of this piece. I'm going to add the rest in here. And I think I'm going to give this one little stir. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get what she got, the girl that I saw the post from, at all. So I'm going to do a flip cup, and I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it back and flip it again. I'm going to let that sit for just a minute. When I pick this up and do all the drips, I'm going to let the drips go on here. And I'm going to try to get towards the center. I really wish I had a sink in my room. Someday. Okay. And I'm going to do a little sliding. Well, I'm not going to get what she got because I'm going to tell you right now, she got more white than I have. I keep getting really muddy, muted colors. And I'm guessing maybe paint's too thin again. I'm going to torch this real quick. I do have some pretty cells happening. Okay, so turn that off. Get it to slide down. This way. Slowly slide. All right, I'm going to set it down. I'm going to work real quick on the sides a little bit. Some of the, it's much easier to pick this stuff up off the wax paper than it was the things I was using to contain the lids, because the lids had too much texture on the bottom. Okay, just have one more corner. A lot more purple, like a grayish purple. Like I said, I keep getting really muddy colors to some degree. All right, I'll deal with that one in a minute. I want to. Yeah, that's a good idea too. And then let it dry and use acrylic skins. I'm going to see if I can get any more cells to come up. I can't say I'm unhappy. If the cells stay. Okay. Okay, let me set that one in a tray. But I like this little bit, all the colors. So hopefully the cells will stay on that one. Okay, now let's play with this one. For the leftover paint. I'm thinking swipe. Also thinking, why not? Just gave it a little shot of silicone because there was no silicone in the main paint, just in that cut. So this is just total play with the leftover paint. And I think what we'll try is a swipe. So much for washing out cups. Get some of the pure color that's up on the mat. I'm just getting the sides right now too. I'm gonna let that do its thing. This is so not me, but it is almost like perfect rainbow. And I am getting cells. Just trying to get the sides. Okay, let's turn on the, actually, let's do this real quick. Okay. I'm just working on the sides, trying to add some, like get rid of some of the muddy color. Actually, I think I'm going to torch this side over here a little. You never know. And again, it comes to take. I mean, a lot of it comes down to what colors you like. You know, like if you're a bright person or pastel person. Just scraping off some of the stuff on the bottom. Some of the drips before I move it. I like how it's just like a rainbow. And I kind of like that the cells are more on one side than another. I think I'm going to stop messing with the sides. They're all covered. Alright. So I'll move that one. Okay. Let's clean up just a bit. Because there's more wax paper where that came from. That was pretty fast cleanup though, as far as that aspect goes. Let's put more wax paper down. Yeah, the cells refer to those little circles of color within color, and what it is, Colleen, is it's the silicone rising up. Hi, CB, by the way. Okay. that worked fairly well. So I'm just going to use the wax paper again. I like the flat surface better than the ridges that I had in my trays. Do want to I think I needed more in that second one. I didn't have any silicone in some of that paint. But I think I like the spray silicone better than the treadmill that I had. Yep. I don't like the tray pan. I can't get under, it's not smooth. So whatever I use needs to, I just can't get to the bottom below. Okay, so I have 2 more canvases ready. And I'm going to do a similar thing. One's going to be a flip cup, and the other one we're just going to salvage what we can with the extra paint. Maybe try another swipe. So I have white, same white. I have dioxazine purple, a mixture that I made that was blue violet and some white and some. It's kind of a wisteria color. It's my own color. A lavender, again, that I made myself, and a green. And the green is a mixture of Americana medium Hauser and festive green. The lavender was made from folk art metallic, white, and I think a little dioxazine purple was thrown in there. I don't have pastel paints. I don't own them. So I'm finding as I look that I have mid-tone range and darks, but I don't really get pastels unless they're turquoise. That's the only pastels that I have in my paints. Alright, so all of these have a little bit of the GAC 800 and a little bit of the Liquitex pouring medium, not a lot. The flow is only in the white. These are all craft paints except for this one's a little heavier. And I put more white in there. And they all have the GAC 800 in it. And I think I'm going to give all of them a little silicone spray before I forget. And then I'll probably go ahead and spray in the cup too. Oh, that's cool, Dorothy. Right, so I'm going to add water. These won't take as much water, except for the white again. So the green is ready. The lavender. I'll wait on the white. Oh, okay, Dot. I've done this where you take the tulip paints and I've tried the glass riders from Deco Arts and I didn't care for them. But you take the tulip slick and you put a thin layer of the Mod Podge and then you write with the doodle. You don't draw. I mean, you could, I guess, do more. And then when it's dry, you put another layer of the gel medium and you can peel it. You can cut it into pieces and peel it. But I just use it for like accents. Well, Dorothy, what do you have the artist name or like where somebody if somebody was interested in taking the class or subscribing? Why don't you give that if you have that? Links are on, so. And this is purple because it is going to get a horn frog when it's dry in black. I haven't decided how I'm going to do the horn frog. I think one of them I'm going to put the stencil on and then do black around it and take it off and just let the pour through show through. So if you want to put the website where you took the class or the artist name or how information on if they were interested how they can take it, do that. This purple's a heavier paint. I think it's good. Alright, the white's the one that's gonna hurt the wrist. Maybe it won't take as much as the other did. Laura Camshell? Don't pour. All right. I'm still mixing paint. I feel like I have a glob in here. Could be because it's sat. Or I used a used cup. On one of these whites, I used a used cup. I might be picking up old paint. There may be a problem in using the, you don't, I thought I washed it out pretty good. I don't like these cups. I want the cups that I'm going to switch back to. These are the cups I was talking about the other day to someone. These are the ones I actually really like. They're 9-ounce cups. I use them at school all the time. So I'm going to get more of those. And those are, and they're a little heavier plastic for mixing paint. Maybe not for the flip cup. These bend too much. I don't. And they're too deep down in for the amount of paint. Design Matters STY or something like that. Okay. All right, so that's ready. Clean off my hands. While we're waiting on CB. Well, that's cool, Dot. Alright, I'll show you what the horned frog looks like. I have a picture on my phone. This is my stencil from jelly printing. But this is the little one, and the little one doesn't have... So it's got little pieces in it that I'll probably come back with a paint pen and add to it. Alright, CB. So, like I said, I think one of them I'll put him on and paint black over the pour so that when you take him off, you just see the shape of the horned frog and then use black. And the other one, I think I might... I don't know if I want to make another stencil or somehow put them on tissue paper and then put them on here. I haven't decided. Okay, so here's our cup. And I'm going to try with purples first. Try with silicone. A little bit of white. Let's put some of the lavender. And some green. And then I'm going to put some more of that periwinkle color. Another little squirt. Some white. Purple. I think I'll save a little bit of that for later. I don't know if that's enough paint. I think I'll put some more green. I may not have enough paint to do 2 canvases. We'll see. Because I don't feel like this is enough. I'm going to go ahead and use that. It's here. Squirt. I'd rather have too much paint when I'm pouring the first one. Than not enough. Let's do that. On the white, and I'm going to save that white for this one. I'm going to let whatever's on there drain down. Whatever's on here drain down. And let's let whatever. Let's just let those cups drain on there. Get rid of those sticks. Squirt for good measure. I don't think I'm going to stir. Okay. Flip. And double flip. Oh, paint came out there. Alright, I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Work on getting the extra paint out of here. The palette knife. While that's sitting. I also think maybe I don't let them sit long enough. What I'm thinking I'll do on this one is do another swipe. Is let the drips go on top of this canvas and then use the white that I saved for another swipe. But you sure go through canvases fast. Bob's not going to believe I'm already through canvases. Alright. Let's get rid of those cups. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of white to this, water to this white here. So it's a little thinner while it's sitting here. We'll pour a little easier. Okay. Let's let that sit there. That was a good save. There was some purple paint. Okay. Okay. That one's pretty good on the top. I'll worry about the sides in just a minute. I'm gonna torch. Not a whole lot of cell action. Okay. Let's get the sides. It is purple like I needed it to be though. With the dominant color. It's definitely got a TCU vibe there. Just picking up the paint off the wax paper for the sides. So it's covered. Okay. This side's pretty much covered except for just a couple places. I'm going to torch this side here. Okay. This is messy but satisfying. Alright, I got all the sides on that one. I'm just scraping along the bottom and getting any extra drops. I'm going to add it to this one. But I'm happy with that. I'm not getting a ton of cells, but I am getting improvement. This one's pretty enough. It may not get a horn frog. Maybe I'll only do a horn frog on the one. Not sure I want to cover this one up. Let's see how it dries. Alright, let me put this one down and get it out of our way. Yeah, this one had pretty cells and some pretty movement. I agree. Okay. I'm going to let this one slide around, and then I'm going to cover it with white and swipe, I think. I'm going to let it coat the sides a little bit, just so I don't have to deal with the sides as much. Because we're going to swipe it. See what colors if we don't mix the top up too much, what colors we can get out of it. Like I said, I'm just trying to coat the sides enough that we don't even really have to deal with them too much. I'll let that run down and over. It'll just have kind of lavender sides. Let's see if I can get any more mixed up paint out of here. I have to say, this way I'm not wasting a lot of paint doing the second canvas with the drips and the oops and the okay, so I've got that covered all down the sides. There's some less paint right here, so I think I'm going to put this white right here. Mark that off. Okay. let's get the torch out. It didn't do as much as I thought it would. It might be too mixed. Too thin right there. All right. So I think it'll be okay for what I'm going to use it as. I think I just need to leave it alone. I think it'll be cool with the TCU on it because it's just purple. Yeah, you're getting better cells, in my opinion, Carol. But I also may be mixing it wrong again. And you have to remember the second canvas is literally a swipe. On those others, I did not. The ones where I used a lot less, of course, we'll see on these, I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get any. Should not be messing with it. It's already got a skin on it. This one may be I may pour over. Wow, some green cells just started popping up here. But I messed with it right in here. I actually think I'm going to scrape it off. Oh, that sounds crazy. It was way too much paint. It was starting to skin up. I think I'm gonna pour over it. Let me have nothing to lose at this point. I'm just scraping as much paint off as I can so I can get it back to a canvas. Alright. Use the baby white. Because that one was a no-go. This is a try it again. But that'll be fine when it's dry as a primed canvas. Yeah, it was you couldn't see it. It was messed up on the side. It had a like a old lady's wrinkles. It had wrinkles. I don't know if there's any use to any of that. But we can take a piece of paper and stick it in there. Kind of like a smack and drag. Yeah, it's not a bad background as it is. Get rid of that. I tell you, I'm not wild about this. Like, I'm not very good at dealing with this. It doesn't make, maybe it's not left-handed. Let's see if we can get anything to pop on any of this. I don't think so. But it is a pretty purple color. I'm going to just let it be a purple background. Get it where it's thinner in some areas. The green one was pretty. I've lost it, but it was pretty with the turtles on it. I need to send it to Shauna, but I don't know where it's at. Yeah, there's nothing to sink or to rise, really. Get rid of the trash. Oh, one more. And clean up my hands a little. I bought the gallery wraps at Walmart. Those. They were 4 for $12.